So where are we today? We are in, oh, one of the locals welcoming us. We are in the delightful little town of Glenlyon. We're 101 k's from Melbourne and 10 k's north of the spa towns of Daylesford and Hepburn Springs. And unfortunately, Glenlyon sort of gets lost and overwhelmed by its much more famous and popular neighbours of Daylesford. Daylesford and Hepburn are spa towns, very big tourist towns, significant LGBTI community, and little old Glenlyon, population less than 400. Sort of, it's the sort of place you just sort of drive through on the way to somewhere else, which is why we stopped for a look. Because every time I drive through Glenlyon and its quaint main street, I'll think to myself, gosh, this is pretty, and followed quickly by the thought, gee, I could live here. It has a zigzag sort of main street where you come in from the right, you go down this avenue, you take a right at the end, but it's full of really delightful little places like this. That, combined with the rolling hillside, the Loddon River just down in that valley, the English trees, established in 1846 by Richard Babington and John Carpenter. They established what they termed the Holcombe Run and named Glenlyon after their Scottish homes. Wikipedia tells me that Glenlyon also includes part of Wheatsheaf, Porcupine Ridge and Denver. Once again, I'm intrigued by the early settlers' naming conventions. This is the amazingly cute general store, complete with, is that a Jaguar? You couldn't script that any better. Oh, it's an Alpine. It's a Sunbeam Alpine. So the main road from Dalesford comes in through here, does an S-bend and out through there. So Loddon Falls are also worth a look. So great fine food and wine area. Unfortunately, it's been a victim of modern transport, modern technology, and the success of Dalesford and Hepburn Springs, and that the primary school has now closed, the general store, the pubs have closed, the post office has closed, and as the services transferred to nearby Dalesford 10Ks, and as our lifestyle changes, so it becomes sleepier and sleepier. But still incredibly cute. Highly recommend the sleepy little hamlet of Glenlyon. And just on the banks of the Loddon, outside Glenlyon, we have the Glenlyon Racecourse and Recreation Reserve, which was, as the sign tells me, set aside in 1869 and gazetted as a public park in 1880. And by 1907, the uses include racing and general recreation. And you have a rec reserve behind me, and although you can't see it over behind, you don't have to trust me, there is a bit of a racetrack. So commercial use of the mineral water began in 1980 when Taurina Spa sunk a bore to 83 metres and was licensed to extract 15 megalitres of mineral water per year. However, the venture did not last long, because it has a look down here. It says, in the early 1980s, concern had been expressed about radioactivity of the water from the spring. Radioactivity was a fashionable, if little understood, phenomena in the 1920s, and not surprisingly, the water lost its appeal in the marketplace, forcing the closure of the commercial venture. Recent testing of the spring water shows it is perfectly safe to drink. And it says there, it's tested regularly, but its quality and safety cannot be guaranteed. And this itself is the spring itself. You have a chemical analysis It says it's high in magnesium, sodium bicarbonate and dissolved salts, and I can attest, we've tasted it. It is probably what you would call an acquired taste. Very, very metallic, sort of tainted taste. No, not for me, I'm sorry. A picture from circa 1920. And the one thing that springs to mind and springs out is, yet again, January the 1st. Seems to have been the day for race meetings. Lal, Burrum Beat, Warren Heap, everywhere. Napoleon's. I suppose it was one of the few days everybody had off, and they, as you can see, they will dress in their finery and make a social event of it and come down to the race meeting. We got 907 square metres with an additional crown lease of 600 square metres behind it. Perfect place for a house. I'll have a look online and I'll let you know in a link how much it would cost to buy a section in the main street of Glenlyon.